3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon. It is Sunday and it is finals day here in Yakima at the Sundome, Columbia River Circuit Live. I'm Becky, Mapston, your host. I'm here with co-host Ryan Wilson, and we have brought Mr. Steve Kenyon back today because you have been in the midst of all the action announcing, so you have a good eye on what's happening today.
It's going to be an interesting day. A lot of the year-end titles have already been decided for the most part, but the averages in every event, obviously the year-end champions and the average winners go on to Kissimmee and the Ram National Circuit Finals in April, and those are all wide open. There are a couple of events where the team roping in particular, where the average is something really weird would have to happen for Riley and Brady Minor not to win the average in the team roping. But for the most part, we're going to have a fun Sunday afternoon. We had a great rodeo Saturday night. I thought, Ryan, you were right there in the arena watching it. I thought we had a really, really good night last night.
I would agree with Steve. It was a really action-packed night. I think the rough stock really was an outstanding show. Horses showed up to buck, and the guys showed up to ride. And the bulls were outstanding, and Big Ben and Flying Five and Mike definitely brought the gas for tonight, and it should be good watching.
Well, we talked about Ryan, he's kind of everywhere during the rodeo right now, and he kind of took a licking in the saddle bronc riding. We had a wild ride out there with Jack Benz.
He's tough.
He's
a kid.
It's like a bullfight.
30 is the new 20. It's okay. No,
I'm with Steve. Yes, sir.
I was really interested. I went and looked at the judges' scores on Jack Vance. Jack Vance, for folks who don't know what we're talking about, he got on Spring Planning, the two-time horse of the year, and his saddle came loose and actually ended up going over Spring Planning's head. The judges both marked the horse 23. They were 15 and 18 on the spur rides. I was really curious what they would do with that, I thought the first 5 or 6 seconds of his ride on that horse, he was fixing to be spectacular. I think.
No, the horse riding all around was outstanding last night, yes sir.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things you're like, oh no, shoot!
Yeah.
with the saddle.
What was Johnny? I mean, Johnny that was absolutely outstanding with him too. He had really nice bronc ride.
You've got, what do you got there for the round results, Steve? Because I know
Johnny Esplan was 86.5 in the bronc riding last night. Just a great night in the saddle bronc riding. I told the audience when the saddle bronc riding started with Cool Toddy, Spring Planning, all those great horses and Mike Corey's. I thought it was probably as good a set of horses as you were going to see short of Las Vegas in December, and it was. The bareback riding go-around winner, Trenton Montero, 83. He's had a good circuit finals. Steer wrestling, Ryan Botham was 4-1. Team roping, Jason Stewart and Calgary Smith were 4-6. Good to see that for them. The saddle bronc riding, we mentioned Johnny Esplan was 86.5. Tie-down roping, Bo Pickett has won both performances. He's got a real good handle on the average. He was 8-3 last night. He was 8 flat on Friday night. On the barrel race, it was Casey Gartner who could win the average, 13:45. And in the bull riding, Ruger Piva was 86. I really thought the bull riding was if the saddle bronc riding wasn't a highlight event, the bull riding I thought was.
And it leaves it wide open. I think that for that race, it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, because there's like a 1 point difference, right?
Austin came in the first night, was leading it with an 87, and then his little brother Wyatt was good to see. He came in the second night and got one rode. And then Jordan, he picked up the pace, picked up that challenge a little bit, and put the hunt on those guys. So I think it should be really good watching tonight, and it leaves it wide open, so it's a good race.
Nobody's ridden 2. Austin Covington on 1 with an 86. Ruger Piva on 1 with an 86. Or Austin on 1 with an 87, Ruger on 1 with an 86. There were a couple 85s last night.
And looking at the list of the bulls tonight, and it's wide open, and these guys all know it, and it should be good watching. Mike Corey Lang did an outstanding job bringing some of these bulls, and Big Ben and Flying Five did an outstanding job, and they put together a great pen.
So Ryan, do you have a matchup of the day in the bull riding? I mean, is there one that jumps out to you?
I'm going to go with Jordan in this pen. I picked him earlier. Jordan.
On Whirlybird?
Yeah. Speaking with him earlier, Jordan's he's got that fire about him right now. Things look good for him. All these guys have stepped it up. But I'm going to go with Jordan tonight with the bulls. And I just think that's going to be a good matchup. Yes, sir.
I looked up the records on that bull. They rode that bull one time this year. It was in Ellensburg for 90. So if Jordan can get it done, that's a bull you can do some business
on. He normally rises to the challenge when it's up for him, so I'm good. It's going to be exciting to watch.
Okay, so I took over your show, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I wanted to talk, we talked about the bulls. I want to talk about the horses up in saddle bronc riding because everywhere I've seen Arabella, and that's one of Mike's horses.
Yeah.
Good riding horse. Everybody that I've seen ride her scores on her.
They actually went around in the bareback riding on that horse here last year. That's one of the horses. Mike Corey brought in a bunch of horses from the Corco family. He brought in some horses from Corco's out of South Dakota, from Mossbrooker's out of Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
And that's one of Corco's old horses. That horse actually been to the NFR.
Yeah.
They went around in the bareback riding here last year at the Columbia River Circuit Finals on that horse.
And
Joe Harper, the
Joe's
standings leader, the season standings leader, probably going to be the season year-end champion.
Yep.
Has got a shot on that horse. I agree. I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup for Joe on that Arabella horse. If that isn't one to watch, maybe Johnny Espeland on Holy Dakota, the Corey and Lang. They've been 86 in Jerome on that horse, 83 and a half in Ellensburg on that horse. That's a matchup to keep your eyes on too.
See, and it's funny you say that, because I marked Johnny, Tate, and Joe. I think
Yeah.
those are the three to watch. I mean, Spring Jubilee, I'm going to assume is out of spring planning. I'm not sure.
Definitely goes back to that genetic program, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so-
It's either spring planning or spring clean.
Yeah.
Either way, you're springing into some pretty good
Yeah.
bloodlines.
Yeah.
And Johnny and Tate, they're battling for that average position too. So I think Tate's got it right now. So it'll be interesting. But you know, Joe and Arabella's gonna. I think that's gonna be the beautiful ride of the
Okay.
South Bronx. So
There you go.
yeah, that's my pick. Steer wrestling. Tell me about the average on that one. It's
Blake
late
Knowles
right
at
now.
10-2
It's late
in the
right
number
now.
one spot in the average, and he is 0.3 of a second ahead of Travis Terusio in the number 2 spot at 10-5. I did not get a chance to look and see who's got the better end of the steers. The steers are the same ones they've run the last 2 nights. But the year-end title is going to go to Jesse Brown. It's just a question of whether Blake was in this position last year going into the final day, and the average slipped away from him. Blake's been a Columbia River Circuit champion. He's won the average at this rodeo. Travis has been a Columbia River Circuit champion. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we're going to crown champions today. I guess my one question I have before we end, it's going to be a short show today. Careful how I say that. What was your highlight for the weekend?
You know, my highlight for the weekend, there have been a couple. The opening night 87-point bull ride that Austin Covington turned in was really spectacular. Last night, top to bottom, the saddle bronc riding and the bull riding. The bronc riders actually, I'm going to admit, surprised me a little bit. That pin of horses, I thought there was a chance they might only ride 2 or 3 last night.
That was a gas last night.
It was.
Yes.
It was. It was
Big
good.
Ben and Flying 5, they put together an awesome string of horses all year long, and they put both these subcontractors together. Take a lot of pride in their horses. And last night, watching them work together, and you could see those horses, I think it was something spectacular, absolutely spectacular.
Yeah. There's one person in particular I'm kind of rooting for today, and that's barrel racer Casey Gartner from Walla, Washington.
I agree.
She's had such good luck the last 2 years on that little horse she calls Mercedes at the Pendleton Roundup. She is sitting right now in the number 1 spot in the average coming in today.
They're just clicking.
They are.
Yeah.
Amberly Moore's got the year-end one.
Yep.
Casey could go to the Ram National Circuit Finals as the average champion. If she doesn't, number 2 in the average is first-time Columbia River Circuit finalist Olivia Train
Okay.
from Myrtle Point, Oregon, and she's
you're
had
really
a good.
You're really keen on these barrel horses.
Yeah, she's
No
had a
other
really
reason.
good circuit finals. Amber Moore's 4th out on the ground today. The top of the ground has been the place to get the checks, although last night they placed down on the bottom of the ground. Casey Gardner was not on the top of the
Yeah, I
ground
think she
last
said
night.
she was 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and I got to talk with her last night, and she was just really excited about the fact that her kids are teenagers now, and she gets to rodeo, and she just never thought she'd be in this position. So
Yeah.
she's stoked.
Yeah.
So
So those have been my highlights, I think.
yeah. And how about you?
I would have to say that my highlight of the weekend was definitely Austin the first night. 87 points. This is Austin's. Yes, I did kind of go with the bull riding side of things, obviously, but Austin is a good friend of mine. A really great guy. Comes from an awesome family.
Yeah.
He's really overcome a lot of things in his life, and he's on the right page right now, and he's focused, and I've never seen anybody more dialed in. And it's just good to see someone in our sport put in the hard work and to see the payoffs for it, and it's been great to watch.
I interviewed Austin Friday night, and
Yes.
I bumped into Wyatt, his brother, last night after the rodeo was over. Wyatt was 85 last night. And I said, okay, so what's it going to take for both the Covington boys to ride on the same day? He said, just watch us tomorrow.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Austin's getting on a bull called, you can tell me more about these bulls than I can. Austin's getting on Bombs Away from the Flying 5. They were Sage Kimsey was 85 and a half on that bull in Reno. That bull bucked off his brother at the Elgin Stampede this year. And Wyatt Covington's getting on Nitro. They've ridden that bull twice in Ellensburg this year. Been 84 and a half on him. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the bulls that are going to be out today are definitely they're short round bulls. I mean, this is the bulls that the guys want to get on. These are the ones that are going to challenge you a little bit, but
Yeah.
show up to the game and go out and ride your bulls, and you can be a pile of points. and be on your way to Kissimmee. And I think that both them boys have it in their mind and they want to do it. And there's a bunch of guys in this list that are ready to do it, and it's going to be good watching.
Yeah. Team roping average, I said something cataclysmic was going to happen. There have only been 2 teams that have roped both of their steers so far. Riley and Brady Minor have got a 14-second lead on the field in average.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's completely wrapped up.
yeah.
And they've just been solid coming off the finals, and that's been really fun watching. I've actually really enjoyed. I think my highlight for the weekend has been watching Bo Pickett. You know, he's just kind of, he's just kind of coming in here, smooth. And
I
just
love
getting
that
it
yellow
done.
horse.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just smooth, and he walks in here and he's excited, and he's just like, I just got to get an 8.0 and I'm good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it was cool in the steer wrestling too. We talked with Blake a little bit about it last night, and to watch a bunch of these young guys. You know, you got Justin, you got Ryan, and you got Taylor Gregg, and you got Massey as well, and they're just absolutely on fire this year. And to see that young group of guys that are all traveling together and knowing where they're from and how hard they've been working to put into it, it's really cool to see those guys on the road.
Really, there are 2 year-end races that haven't been decided.
Yes, sir.
The all-around,
Okay.
it's real close with
Caleb
McMillan and Jason Minor, and Jason Stewart's in there still. In the bull riding, Jordan Spears has won over $20,000. Brady Portnier is not too far behind him. You throw in average checks and go-round checks.
There's some points that can be made up there and a lot of money.
Yeah. So the bull riding will be decided.
Yes,
today.
and like I said, there's a couple of those good races. There's some stuff that's tied up, but there are some good races, and it's going to be exciting to watch them.
We've got a great circuit. We've got a great group of cowboys and cowgirls. I love the camaraderie in our circuit. I love the family feel of this circuit, close-knit, and it's going to be a great rodeo today. I know we can listen. Anyone who's not here can listen on
Roll Radio, Sirius XM 147.
So that'll be you live, and you'll hear it all there, and then we'll do the average and round winners.
Well, let's do it this way. It's only 12:14, so if you happen to be like in Yakima or Toppenish or...
You got time.
You got time.
You got time. Come down and watch the rodeo.
The roads are good now.
Yeah, roads are good.
Don't worry about the snow.
Yeah.
We're Washingtonians. We can handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, for most of us Washingtonians / Montanians. So, anyway, that is it live from Yakima. It's been a great weekend. We'll be bringing you the updates as we, solidify the winners and get our team together for Kissimmee.
And you'll have some interviews that we'll share next week on Western Sports Roundup on the Cowboy Channel.
So tune in to Western Sports Roundup, Cowboy Channel. Steve will be back home in Texas. Well,
this is home for Steve.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I'm always careful when I say
still claim
home.
when you guys can't have them, but
Yeah.
we'll let you guys borrow.
Ryan got on Facebook the day that I told everybody we were moving to Texas. He said, "No, you're not. You're a PNW guy. You're staying in the Northwest."
Yes.
Yeah, so like I said, we're all big family up here. So that is it from Yakima. Stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in all weekend.
Steve, always a pleasure to have you, sir.
Awesome.
All right, that's it from Yakima.